All right. The one thing I said was, watch where rates go as we enter the new year. What happened? Bang. So when you see about 100 and, what are we at today? 3.9, 3.88, something like that. When you see that kind of dip, the market reacts. The market is up, I don't know, 9% in the past 2 weeks, something like that. Just crazy. Obviously, that's what they call the Dow futures. They price in these rate cuts. So they indicated 3 to possibly 5 rate cuts. They're saying the first one around April timeframe. I'll bet you it happens first week of March. That's my guess. You don't need rate cuts to see the 10-year start ticking down, as you have saw. They're pricing that in the bond market. It's going to remain a little bit slower for the next couple weeks. Mark my word, second week of January, we are going to get blasted. Blasted. Not just with referrals, but you guys, the most important thing you can do, whether you do it now or you do it at the beginning of the year, everybody that you've touched base with this year, you need to get back in front of those people, sellers and buyers, because it is going to be, I don't want to use the word frenzy, but it's going to be very, very busy this spring. Very busy. And you're going to have both sides. You're going to have sellers willing to sell and buyers willing to buy. You're going to find an interest rate environment in April, May, in that high 5, low 6 environment that's low enough to get people to say, by the way, what you're also going to see too, you're going to see a lot of sellers come spring that need to sell their home because they need to sell their home. It's the only way they can tap into that equity. You're going to see a lot of equity lines like there are right now that have been capped out, and they still have a lot of debt, so they're going to have to sell their home. So there's a lot of things playing in your favor, a lot. So make sure, where's King? Where's the King? Where's Robert? We talked about this last meeting. What you told me is that you're calling people to a point where you feel like you're bothering them. Don't worry. Don't worry. You're not bothering people. I call back the people that call me. When you're top of mind, you will get the response you want. If you don't pick up the phone, please do me a favor. Give your license to Leon today and walk out the door and stop selling real estate. We are in the game of sales, and you have to pick up the phone. Don't rely on email. I would look at somebody, if somebody emailed me about a property that I hadn't talked to in a month, 2 or 3 months, I would actually look at that as like laziness. I really would. And don't think that people don't have that sentiment. Like when you are going to be purchasing something as valuable, as expensive, as big of a decision as a home, if somebody doesn't get the courtesy to at least, like, how many text messages do you get from people about stuff and you're like, why are you texting me this? Like, I think it's just pure laziness, and I want a professional when I'm buying a house. And so pick up the phone. Pick up the phone, especially come January, because a lot of the people that you have got in touch with this year have been on the fence. They're going to wait till January, and I'm telling you, it's going to be a hot spring. You guys, look, no one can 100% predict the future, okay? Anything can happen. War, anything can happen to screw this thing up. But all signs are telling us that 2024 is not only going to be significantly better than 23, it should be one of the best years we've had in a very long time because of the 2 transaction side of things, okay? So for those of you that haven't had a lot of listings lately, I would sharpen your skills.
Can't hear anything.
Load with referrals. From the partners we have, that should be up 25, 30%, to the partners that we know are going to be up 30, 40%, and to a laundry list of people that Jake's going to show you today. We are loaded coming into 2024. And when I say loaded, I mean some of the biggest, forget the ones we got already. I'm talking about new partners coming on board that are monsters. It's going to be an awesome, awesome start to the year. So you're going to have plenty of opportunity. It's those that work for it and those that work hard will get it. There's also been a lot of people at this company in tough times like this year that have absolutely excelled. And I go back to that saying, if you're missing something, if you can see that there are people doing it and you're not, You got to ask why. If I go to the gym and I see Kelly, if I see my brother-in-law, I'm going to ask him, how do I do this exercise? Because clearly he knows how to do it better than I do. But that's the point of no ego, just wanting to get better. And there are a lot of people at this company that actually had a really good year this year. And even in this slower fourth quarter that are crushing it. Ask them why. What are you doing differently? What is it? Because there's no prejudice what we do. We distribute referrals. You guys find your own clients. So knowing that and seeing the leaderboard, there's something that someone is doing if you're not on top of that leaderboard that you're not. There's skill sets, don't get me wrong. There's people that are simply better at sales than others. I get it. Trust me. I understand that. But there's also things that can be done with those that have a skill set, but also have a way that they organize their business and the things that they say when they get somebody on the phone. That's the key thing. The key thing is, it's not I don't know if you guys have ever seen some of my videos about, it's not what you say necessarily, it's when you say that thing. There's nuance to being a great salesperson. Being a great salesperson is knowing what to say and when to say it and when to plant a seed to somebody's head that it's time for you to buy a house. Whether that's on a call or touring, there is an art form to being a great salesperson. And if you continue to do the same thing again and again and again, and you see yourself in the middle or towards the bottom of the leaderboard, I hate to tell you this, something you're doing is not working. And you have to have an honest conversation with yourself that I'm trying my ass off here. Like, effort doesn't necessarily see results. Effort is a byproduct. Results are a byproduct of effort. But if you're putting in the effort and not getting the results, then you're doing something wrong. And you can't be prideful enough to sit there and say, I'm working hard, I'm working hard. No, you're doing the same thing without getting different results. And if you are doing that, if you're hearing me right now and you're experiencing that, you have to step out of your comfort zone. You have to ask Nikki. You got to ask Matt. What are you doing differently? Why is it that you're selling 40, 50 houses a year? What is it that you're doing differently? Can you walk me through your initial call? We have recordings of a lot of people that are really good on that initial call. But there's phases in what we do. You got to be good at your initial call. You got to be great at your discovery, asking the right questions, and when you ask those right questions, probing for the next question. When I ask you a question, it's to get ammunition for the next question coming. And I'm leading you down this path so I can narrow the scope of what you're looking for, and then I'm going to explain why I'm the best that you want to work with. That's an art form. And then there's people on tour, people that show up, and they got a clean car, and they look like he does every single day, sharp, speaks well, knows their craft. Would you buy from somebody that showed up in a dirty car or somebody that showed up in blue jeans and a raggedy shirt? No, you wouldn't. I wouldn't. Doing the tour the right way, taking them to the least desirable one first so you get to say no. There's better out there. Hopefully we find it on this tour. So when you enter that fourth home and it's great and you see that they like it, now you've earned the right to say, I love it too. And then when you get into escrow and you get a contract done, your negotiation skills from there, not just giving up the house on the first offer, understanding that you got to play both sides and you got to set the foreshadowing and expectations of what's about to come from the seller. Expect a counter one. I'm thinking we're going to get one. We may not, but odds are we are, because I said this. If you know you're going to get countered, tell them you're going to get countered and what we're going to do once we get countered in order by counter 3 to get this done. This is going to take us like some people think the expectation they can buy the house that day. If I know I'm dealing with a situation where I think I'm going to have multiple counters, my anticipation, if Matt's my client, to say, Matt, I want you to do me a favor. I got some work to do here. We're going to go back and forth, and this is how I see it playing out. This is going to take a day or two. Why do I say that? I say that so they calm down and they give me a couple days to work on this deal and follow me down the path. And then the next piece is, when you get a deal done, is managing the damage control that an escrow can bring. That is foreshadowing and expectations at its finest. Very rarely did I lose a deal. And I very rarely lost a deal because I knew what it took to keep it together because I set expectations up front. You're going to see 30 things on this inspection report. Don't flip out. We're going to address any big ticket items so you don't fall into a money pit. But we're not going to be greedy because we don't want to lose this deal. Right, Nikki? That's right. Great. So when they get the inspection report, they're not telling me what they want me to ask for. I'm telling them what they should ask for. We guide. We guide. These are phases of selling. You got to have an initial call with somebody. You got to take them to see a home. You got to close them. You got to manage it. And then you got to get paid. And there's people in this room that are exceptional at different phases of this process. Just because you're really good on initial call doesn't mean you're a great negotiator. Just because you're a great negotiator doesn't mean you're great at touring. So find out what it is that you're doing. If you find yourself in the middle or towards the bottom, you got to be honest with yourself and ask yourself, what is it that I'm doing why I'm not at the top? If you're not in the top 20%, why? Why? You should be. If the effort's there, you should be. If the effort's not there, then you're lazy and I can't help you. But if you're putting in the effort and you're not in the top 20%, you're missing something in your business. I promise you. So ask questions. Not to me. Ask questions to the people that every single month you see them on the top of that leaderboard. Those are the ones that can help you. And you're going to be really busy this quarter. So if you're going to do that, start brainstorming with people. You know, Phoenix, we got 100 people in Phoenix Plus. Brainstorm with people. Everybody across the country has teammates that do really well. Brainstorm with them. Figure it out. But you're going to be really busy this spring. Really busy. So get ready for that because it's right around the corner. As I mentioned last meeting, you guys have weathered the storm. Brighter days are ahead. And if you have weathered the storm in 23, where you were close to even from 22 or even up from 22, that should tell you that you are sensational at what you do. Because very few people are even or up from 23 to 22. Most are up or down 50 to 60%. Okay? It's going to be a great year. So, I don't know. I'm just, you know, with the holidays coming around, you know, this weekend, just like really, really grateful for what this company represents. To me, JMG represents excellence in sales. It represents the best of the best people that can work with consumers to sell them property. I want to be excellent when it comes to personnel, and I want to be excellent when it comes to systems, and I want to be excellent when it comes to providing value from our partnerships to our agents. That's what I strive for. That's what I want. And I believe we're really close on a lot of things that we're doing. And I think next year is going to be just a year where we absolutely just take over and crush it. So really, really excited.